So I want to welcome you to the part 2 of the Advanced Smartphone Settings class that's going to roll into the Advanced Smartphone Apps class. You can pull your chair over if you want to. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to sit for a lot of the class. But we stopped yesterday at invert colors. Am I correct?
Yes.
On the list. So we're going to talk about invert colors, and I want to tell you what that is. That's something that someone actually introduced to me a couple years back. They introduced invert colors to me. I was on the beach in the Dead Sea. So I was at the Dead Sea Spa in Israel. I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Dead Sea before. And it's incredibly hot and incredibly sunny at the Dead Sea when you would want to go to the Dead Sea. We agree with that. And I'm out there, and I've got my iPad. I'm not in the spa, I'm not in the sea. I've got my iPad and my iPhone. I'm going like this to be able to see what's going on outside. And someone actually came up to me and said, "There's a better way to see your device outside." And I said, "No, there's not." I said, "I'm the Apple guy on board." I go, "You're not going to tell me something I don't know." Very rarely does that happen, but guess what? It did. It's a good thing you can't sing in the Dead Sea, because I probably would have drowned there. So we're going to go into our phones or our tablets. We're going to go to Settings. We're going to go to General. And we're going to go to Accessibility. And we're going to live inside of Accessibility for the next. So Settings, General, Accessibility. Now, this setting used to be in, now on her phone, because she's how many years behind? No, I'm just kidding. Oh no, where's, oh, she's the, you two look very similar. It really confuses me. The husbands are easy to pick out, but the two ladies, I'm like, I get very confused. You see, look, yeah, they changed seats. That's what happened. So she's got the dated-ish phone. You're going to still have it. If you go and write Accessibility, you're going to see something that says Invert Colors. Do you see that? Yeah. The rest of you, if you have iOS 10, you're going to see Display Accommodations. And inside of Display Accommodations, you're going to see Invert Colors. Okay. Now, just for fun, I'm going to show you something that you can do. You can say, "Hey Siri, turn on Invert Colors." Display. What do you do?
I don't know what you mean by
Invert Colors.
Okay, I turned on Invert Colors.
So you can technically do it with Siri. I'm showing you where the setting is so you can see it. But if you click on Display Accommodations and you click Invert Colors, watch what happens. It already did. It already did. Well, you can turn it on. Go ahead and do it. I want to show you what that does. So that makes your screen dark. And it does two good things. It makes it work out in the sunlight really well as makes it work at night without bothering your eyes. We're going to talk about night shift in a couple minutes' time, but that's the concept there, is it'll make it work at night as well. So we see Invert Colors, and you can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can use Siri to do it, or you can go into the settings. So it's in Settings, and then Accessibility, and Display Accommodations, and Invert Colors is right inside of there. Now, here's the thing. What's the primary color on that phone screen now? Black, when you invert colors. Look at my Apple Watch real quick. I'm going to give you something that's going to, it will pay its dividends in a few years' time. This is a bit of information that I think is really interesting information. What's the primary color on the screen of my Apple Watch? Black. Now, if you look at this screen right here, this screen is taking just as much battery life to show the color black as it would to show the color white. You have your Android phone on you?
Yes.
Yes. So her Android phone, I don't have an Android phone, uses the same screen as my Apple Watch. It's called an AMOLED screen. And what's cool is it does not cost any battery to show the color black. So do you notice her phone has the time on it? Mm-hmm. Shows that time in the white. It doesn't take any battery to show the time because the color white is all it's showing. On your iPhone, to show the color black, it takes electricity to show the color black. Your phone can always display the time because it's only using what it takes to show the time right there. Now, why I show that is because it's very likely the screen technology in the iPhone is going to change to something called AMOLED, which is what they use on the watch. And if you were to put on invert colors, you would not only be able to see it outside or not have it bother you as much at night, but here's where it gets really cool, you would actually get increased battery life. Because it wouldn't cost any battery to show the color black. Does that make sense?
Will they be able to do that with an update? Or is that
no, that's a physical hardware problem. That's a physical hardware issue. So I'm trying to say in a couple years' time, this is actually going to save you a significant amount of battery life if you were to go in there because black wouldn't cost anything to show. Right now, in the back of the iPhone is a white panel. That's a giant white light. And that's why on an iPhone, you can't get true blacks. even if you've ever watched a video and it's like letterbox, you don't have a true black in that letterbox video. Does that make sense to you? You don't have a true black because it's still a backlit black, lit black. Yeah, backlit black lit thing. Okay, so we're going to turn off invert colors. And I'm going to talk about something that actually will save battery life. And this is where things start to get very interesting. So my dad is a bit neurotic about battery life. He's very addicted. He uses too much battery. He sits on his phone trading stocks all day, which we'll get to in the second part of this class today. Does anybody trade stocks a lot? You're going to love this app. I'm going to show you later on. It's a free stock trading app. Free stock trading app. Yes, I said free. We'll get there. It's not on your sheet. It's on the next sheet that I'm going to print out when we're ready to do it. But what he does is he wants his battery life to last a little bit longer. So we should be able to go back. If you're in display accommodations, we need to go back to accessibility. And then we're going to see something that says reduce motion. Do you see that? Scroll down a bit.
Yes.
You see reduce motion.
Put that on?
I want to show you what it does. Watch my screen really quickly. You'll see I'm in the settings application, right? I'm going to stand up so everyone can see this. You see I'm in the settings application. When I go back to my main page, you'll see that the settings application shrinks. And it goes there. Now you see that it blows back up. And then it shrinks. And it blows back up. And it shrinks. When you do that, that is the highest battery usage thing that your phone does, is switching between applications. Believe it or not, the highest battery usage thing your phone does is when it switches between applications, because it has to animate every single frame there. So this is not a built-in transition, it's actually animating every single frame. Also, it can make you a little bit sick. Especially if you're on a moving ship. That's all I have to say. You zoom in, you zoom out. There's a button that says reduce motion. If you turn that on, instead of zooming in and zooming out, watch what it's going to do. It's just going to fade between the apps. See the difference there? That's going to save you 5% battery life over a 100% charge, which is pretty cool. So it'll save you. You're adding an additional. You leave it on, yeah. You can do it on an iPhone or an iPad. It will save you 5% battery life over 100% charge. If you want to get a better, take that stool and move that back, and then you'll see over a little bit. I'm just giving you a heads up there. So, does that make sense? We turn on reduce motion, and that'll do it. You can leave that on all the time. Now, you've probably heard reduced motion before because we referenced it yesterday. You don't need to follow me here, but you remember low power mode?
Yes.
When you turn on low power mode, it doesn't take background mail, it doesn't do hey Sudi, we're not going to say the word, it doesn't do hey Sudi, background app refresh, automatic downloads, and some visual effects are reduced or turned off. So in low power mode, it reduces the motion automatically. Does that make sense there?
Yeah. Do I have it on the Samsung?
On the Samsung, not specifically, no. It's on your iPad though. So it's definitely on your iPad, but it's not on the Samsung. It's on the Samsung, but it's not something you can change. It's a nerdy setting. It's something that I would have to go ahead and change if I were to go ahead and change it. So we've got that right there. Now the next thing I want to show you, I will show you very hesitantly. I'm going to give you a warning before we do this. Does everybody have a passcode on their device, on their iPhone or their iPad? Yes. We all have a passcode of some sort. I don't care if it's fingerprint. We all have a backup number passcode. Does anybody not that's sitting here? You don't?
I do.
You do, okay. So if you have a backup passcode, nothing can really go wrong here. I showed this once on the Solstice a couple years ago. Someone didn't have a passcode, someone forgot the password they used here, and it became a lot of fun. And I say that in the most blatant, sarcastic term of a lot of fun as I possibly can.
All right, call me naive. What are you talking about?
The code you put in,
When you put the number.
or your fingerprint. Yeah, the one you put in every time. Because if you don't have that set up and we mess this up, life becomes a lot of fun.
I have so many
Yeah,
passwords.
I'm agreeing. So we should still be in general, settings, general accessibility, and scroll all the way down to where it says guided access. Do you see that?
Yes.
Click on guided access. And I want you, settings, general, accessibility, guided access. I want you to turn on guided access. Settings, general, accessibility, guided access. Have we got it on?
No.
Well, you see where it is.
No.
Okay. Settings, general, yep. Turn it, so we're going to turn it on. And then you're going to see something that says passcode settings. Do we see that?
Yeah.
Click on passcode settings. Underneath passcode settings, you'll see something that says Touch ID. Don't worry about that. We're going to deal with Touch ID later. I don't want that happening. You don't have a fingerprint, so that's okay. Do you see where it says Set Guided Access Passcode?
Yeah.
Click on Set Guided Access Passcode. Everybody in this room is going to have the same guided access passcode, so nobody messes up. You can change it later. It's going to be the number 6, either 4 or 6 times. So 6666 or 66666, depending how much it's asking for. Don't worry, this is not changing your code to get into your device and then confirm it again. So just the number 6, because we're not because I worship any satanic gods or anything, just because we're on deck 6. Let's be completely honest. That's why we said it. No, it's okay. So that's why we have created what we've got right there. So we've got it, and now that should be set. Good? Makes sense. So we're set. We've got the 6666, which is the code that's on the screen. Now, what is the use of guided access? So what we can do, here's the interesting thing. Have you ever passed your phone to someone and said, hey, take a look at this picture, or hey, take a look at this, and then they take a look at the picture, and then they start messing around with your entire device? They leave that app. You don't pass your picture?
No, they don't mess with me.
Really? Well, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Or your device is my device is fun. Oh, no, I'll give you an example. You know those kiosks that they have around the ship that have the celebrity website and the celebrity app on it and stuff like that, the iPads that they have by Future Cruise Sales, by the elevators, by all of that kind of things? You can't go and surf the internet on those or anything like that because they've locked it into that one app. So imagine if you give your iPad to kids or grandkids, or why this was originally created was actually for autistic people. So you could lock it in one app, and they can't press buttons, they can't do anything, they can watch a video, they can do things like that. So if you give it to kids, if you give it to grandkids, if you give it to anything like that, that's a great way to go about doing this. So I want you to all open the Photos app. Photos app. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close the door right now. Fantastic, man. I can close the door. So I want you to open the Photos app. And we're going to do the hardest thing we've done in 22 classes this cruise right now. This is the absolute hardest thing you're going to do. Are we all in the Photos app? Yeah. So we open the Photos app. What we need to do to enable guided access, we have to, don't try it yet. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and then I'm going to explain how to do it. We have to triple click the home button. I'm sure we've all double clicked the home button to close apps before. But I need to explain to you, a triple click is click, click, click. Not click, click, click. Click, click, click. So you're going to click, if you go click, 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 it's not going to work. Does that make sense to us? So click, 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 click at the same cadence. What's going to happen is someone's always going to distinctly go click, 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 and it's going to go. So does that make sense? Bum, bum, bum. Not bum, bum, bum. Okay, so we should be able to go, if we're in the Photos app, we're going to triple click on the home button. We're going to go bum, bum, bum. I'm going to show you. Nothing dangerous. Nothing dangerous. Aha. And it will say guided access. Okay, so bum, bum, bum. You have a very hard case to do it in. Bum, bum, bum. Well, you need to be in a specific app. So bum, bum, bum. No, this is a hard case. Okay, I got it. It's hard. So we're going to go bum, bum, bum. And then we get guided access. Does that make sense to all of us? Now, what is guided access? Guided access is going to lock us in this specific app. So it's going to keep us locked inside of the Photos app. Now, before we enable it, we can choose different things. Do you see where it says Options on the screen? Go ahead and click Options. And you can choose whether the sleep-wake button, the volume button, motion, the keyboards, touch, all of these different things work. So if you give an app to your kids or your grandkids and you say, hey, you can play this app for 10 minutes and then you're done, you can set a time limit, and once that time limit's up, it's done. It locks them out completely. They can't leave that app. They can't do anything until you turn off guided access. You can turn off the ability to touch completely. So you can turn off the ability to touch the screen completely. You can also, when you're like this, you can circle areas of the screen you don't want people to touch. Wow. So if you don't want someone to add anything to your screen, if I don't want anybody to hit that plus button, I can circle that area of the screen, and guess what?
Locked out.
Completely locked out. So just take your finger when you're in that setting, and you circle it. So take your finger and you circle it.
After options?
Let me catch up.
Yeah?
I'm behind.
Bum, bum, bum.
It didn't happen.
Good, yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. No delays. So you need to be in your Photos app, or in an application. It doesn't matter which one first. I like to do photos because that's the most logical. Bum, bum, bum. There's guided access. And it's hard. I promise you, the triple click is very difficult to get done, but once you get it, did we get it?
This came up and now what?
That's good. That's good. That's where you would choose what you can just hit done there. And when you want to start the guided access, you go ahead and you hit start. So you go ahead and you hit start. I'm going to come around. As I said, yeah, you're okay. So you just hit start on the guided access. You have different options. It shows slightly differently on an iPad. It doesn't show all in menus. But you can turn off touch. You can turn off the volume buttons. You can turn off the sleep wake buttons.
Oh, I see. Should we leave that on?
Guided access is only on when you triple click. It's fine. You're never going to triple click by mistake. Let's be honest. So yes, you can leave that on. It's a great little tool. So when you go bum bum bum, then it'll start guided access. You can't do guided access from the app screen. You have to be in a specific app to do guided access. Does that make sense? So we need to be in. Okay, so let's start it. Let's hit start. And now what you'll notice is, even if you try to get out of the app, you can't. Go ahead, start it. Go ahead, I'm going to get you out. I'll explain you.
Nothing happens when I push start.
Try and get out of the app.
I know, but he said, to try to get out. Yeah, but he's got to tell us.
Home button doesn't work.
Home button don't work. Home button broken. Right? What's wrong with this thing? This is a great way.
It says triple.
Yeah.
To get out.
Yes, but you still need the code. You understand?
Oh, okay.
So she says if you do it, it says triple click 3 times to get out. Yes, but you still need the code once you do that. Does that make sense? You still need the code to get out. So you can, now you gotta try and triple click again. So click, click, click. Remember, it's click, 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 not click, click, click. And then put in the 6666 or, and then I'll come over and then you can just hit end. And then it ends it. Click, click, click. We got it out?
Oh, now it says.
It's fine. Click, click, click.
All my grandkids have their own iPhones, so I don't really.
So now you have to push it 3 times to get to it.
We're out. And end.
See, when they hand you their
Now,
phone,
can
they
you start to see
control it
some
now.
practical uses for that?
Nothing.
If you can trap someone inside of an app, there's some practical uses for that. If you want someone to do a survey or you want someone to do something, you don't want someone to mess with your device. It essentially allows you to use your device in a guest mode. You can open an application and you can let someone play with it and they can't mess with anything else. That's the idea of guided access. That's something, it was originally created, you'll notice it's not in like parental controls or anything like that. It's in accessibility because it was designed for people with accessibility problems. People that can't, that motor skills issues and things like that. It would lock them inside an app, but if you have a video, you want to give, if you have kids or grandkids or anything like that, you want to play a YouTube video, you don't want them to be, click, click, click. Click, click. Oh, you're already out. You're fine. 'Cause if you can leave the Photos app, you're already out. So let's make sure everyone can leave the Photos app. Are we okay? We can all get back to the home screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's one of the most dangerous things I do, because if someone puts that the wrong way, ooh! Someone didn't have a lock screen code on the Solstice when I did that, and I used to let people choose their own codes. I've put a lot of, yeah, you're out?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Okay, let me finish explaining what happened, and then I'll get your question. So someone on the Solstice, they didn't have a lock screen code, and I let people choose their own codes. And if you set this up, and in a worst case scenario, you forget the code, if you reboot the device, you just have to put in your lock screen code, the one that you used to get into the device, and it gets you out. But he didn't have a lock screen code, so the only way to get out of that was I had to update his phone to a newer software that existed to get him out of the Photos app. That's why you notice before I even showed you that, I did a lot of precautionary things because I want to make sure that didn't happen again because that wasted 3 days of my time doing that. So getting his phone updated. Yes, your question?
No, I think I answered it. The code is only unique for that.
It's unique for, no, so it's unique for guided access, not that one access. We've set that code, so if you were to turn on guided access again right now, the code would be 6666. If you want to change that, then you can just go back to the guided access settings and hit passcode settings. You can do the passcode. You can also use Touch ID to do it as well. You can use the fingerprint sensor to turn on and off guided access as well. The reason I didn't do that is for some of us, the fingerprint sensor does not work well. So we will get to that.
Why did you look at her direction?
We will get that in a couple seconds. So the next thing we did guided access, Control Center. If you go out to your main screen of your apps, This is going to be hard for the OtterBox users, what we're about to do. You need to start from below where your screen starts and swipe up. So we're going out to the main screen. Yep.
Okay, lost. What do you mean?
Go to this screen
I got it.
and swipe up. This is called Control Center. All of these settings, all this airplane mode, all this turn to Wi-Fi on and off, all the display brightness, everything we've talked about is
There.
right there. But they've made some changes to it. Now, you see, I'm going to point out what these things do and we're going to talk about them. And we're going to kind of kill a couple things down the list a little bit. We've got airplane mode, which is airplane mode. That's what it is. We've got Wi-Fi, which turns on and off Wi-Fi. We've got Bluetooth, which turns on and off Bluetooth. You see that little moon there?
Yes.
That is called Do Not Disturb. And that's something later, but we're going to talk about it now. It's actually how I teach classes in Celebrity Central, and I don't get weird text messages from people in the middle of my class unless I want to get weird text messages, because what you don't realize is across the fleet, one of the major things that we use is Facebook Messenger. So all the managers, they don't communicate with me via email because I'm never near my Windows computer, which is down in my office. They send me messages on Facebook Messenger, and if I was teaching a class and I get one of those messages on Facebook Messenger, guess what that fun that would be? Constellation's having a meltdown in Abu Dhabi! It happened yesterday. Long story. They were in Dubai. Long story. Hi, David, if he's watching it, but it's okay. I fixed it. But what this will do is this will silence all of your notifications from coming in. Now you can turn it on temporarily, or in the settings app you can actually schedule it. It is different than silent mode. In silent mode your device won't make noise. In this mode your device won't tell you anything. It's good. It's good. I also call it third date mode, because if I make it to the third date, then you use that mode. The first and the second date don't count. You just check the Apple Watch. Okay.
So theoretically, you could use that to go to sleep at night.
Yes, you can. So you can actually, to give you an idea, I'm just going to show you. I don't want everybody to follow right now. You can actually schedule it, and you can say scheduled from 10 o'clock at night until 7 o'clock in the morning. Now, very little of those are within my sleeping hours. My sleeping hours start about 4 o'clock in the morning, so it doesn't do me much good, but you can change the schedule. So it has similar. Here's the biggest problem. She keeps pointing to her Android phone. I want to talk about this. Here's the problem. Google makes the software on the Samsung phone and they overlay something on top of it. The trouble is that Samsung and Google don't work together enough to make this work. This is an Apple phone made by Apple. So you have it on your iPad. There's similar things to some of the stuff I showed on Android, but not built in. You can get them in apps and stuff like that. But does anybody know the major difference between this and silence? Between Do Not Disturb and silent mode?
Do not disturb, no one can wake you.
No,
No, you don't see
big
them come
difference.
up on your screen.
Nope, there's a huge difference. If you get a phone call from the same person 2 times in a row within 3 minutes, the second call will not be silenced in case it's an emergency. That's the difference between Do Not Disturb and silent mode. Does that make sense to us? That's the major difference. So
Silence will silence.
silence will silence the calls. Do Not Disturb is a silence, but it has a back door. So you can go ahead, I'm just going to show you, I can say allow calls from favorites. So I can just have it not allow work calls. I can say, don't allow work calls, don't allow all these different things like that. But generally what I'll do is when I want to do a class, I just turn on Do Not Disturb, which I'll turn on right now, and I won't get disturbed. Next to that is a rotation lock. So that will allow you to lock the phone from going sideways. Now only the pluses will go sideways. The smaller phones won't go, only the pluses will go sideways on the app screen. So you can go sideways on the app screen on the plus. It's one of the major reasons I got the plus. Not the small ones, they won't do it. So then you have your brightness right here. See our brightness right there? So we can adjust it from there. Next to it, you'll see AirPlay, correct? On your device, you'll see AirPlay. Click on AirPlay, see what it says. Some of yours don't click it, but some of you might see Class Apple TV, am I right?
Yes.
So AirPlay is how I'm wirelessly streaming to my Apple TV and how I wirelessly stream to my Mac during the class. If you've noticed, if you've taken classes on other ships before, the guy who's teaching the class or the girl who's teaching the class is always tethered to that podium, because they don't do things the way I do them. I don't believe in wires. Now, I have a huge technical setup. If you notice, there's a reason I have 2 computers and 2 phones and an iPad sitting there, because It's a monstrous technical setup to do what I do in Central. And here it's much easier because I have all the tech built into these tables. We actually have a wireless router built in that table, a wireless router built in that table, an Apple TV under there. It's crazy tech that's actually making this all run. But how it's all working is with AirPlay. And if you have an Apple TV, you can hit AirPlay, and that's exactly what I'm doing
So
right there.
we could watch it on our televisions in the room because they're all monitored.
So no, not exactly. The Apple TV's in your room? Oh, don't worry. Someone. Where's Lori?
Oh, I just wanted to see if that would work.
It's okay. I can beat it back. I got it back. Okay. So yes, it will work. And one of my absolute favorite things, I'm going to tell you a great story. This is a quick AirPlay story. There was a lady on this ship about 2 years ago, right? This was one of the most amazing things that's ever happened. She was in the classes. She was staying in a cabin that was right on the other side of that door. So she was still connected to my TV. So she was still connected to my TV because we did this demo. This is why I want none of you doing this. She went back to her cabin and started taking sexy pictures in her cabin. True story. True to life. She's right over in that cabin, and I guess her boyfriend or something, she's just, and I was in the front helping someone do something, right? I'm in the front helping someone do something, and someone goes, Rich, there's a woman that's getting naked on your TV.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I was like, the woman's just stripping on the TV. And I had no way to turn it off. No, I'm just like this. I'm in front of the TV. Well, let me be completely honest. I'm just like this. But it was amazing. So don't AirPlay to unknown TVs. The next AirPlay is something called AirDrop. Do you see that? I want you to click it on now. Now, if you have an iPhone 4, you're not going to see it. But as long as you have a 5 or a 5S, which I think covers, or an iPad that has a lightning connector, click AirDrop and choose Everyone. We will go back to that in a couple minutes' time. That's good. Nothing happens. AirDrop, Everyone. Leave it. We'll get there in a few minutes. Okay? Nothing should happen. Just AirDrop, Everyone. What?
You hope not.
I hope not.
Maybe because
What you got? What?
she's receiving, maybe because her receiving.
No, click on it and then choose Everyone.
Here's Richard's iPhone.
Under AirDrop?
Right there, it just says AirDrop receiving. Who knows what she's receiving? Because you put the lady in that room again.
Okay, she's got a phone now. I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna get angry with her phone because she broke my TV. I'm kidding.
Oh, it says it's on your phone. We're gonna see all your pictures very soon.
I'm gonna undo that. What I've done is I've put her phone on the screen. I'm gonna take her phone off the screen and put my phone back on the screen. Okay, there we go. Come on, my phone back on the screen. And we'll see if we can get her AirDrop playing. Okay. We're going to have to take a look at your phone after the class, Lori. I don't know what's going on there. But we'll take a look at her phone after the class. So AirDrop, everyone but Lori got that, right?
Yes.
Everyone but Lori. Okay. Now the next thing I want to talk about is night shift. Right down. Yep.
What was the password for AirPlay?
No, there's no password for AirPlay. It's going to show it on the TV screen when you try and connect. Don't try and connect because I don't have to undo what you did. So we go in. The next thing under there says night shift. Do you see that?
Yes.
Don't watch my screen here. Watch the screen of my phone. What's the primary color you see on that phone and emanating off of that phone? White, blue, bluish white. When I turn on, oh, come on, Richard's phone. That's not my phone. That's other Richard's phone. Other Richard, don't play with it. I should never show these things. Watch my phone screen, though. Night shift. Now the primary color coming off my phone is a darker yellowish white. You see that? It's hard to see. When you turn on night shift requires at least an iPhone 6 to do. So night shift requires at least an iPhone 6. What it's doing, I'm going to see if I can show you. It won't show on this screen. Is it removes the color blue from your screen. It's allowing you to remove the color blue from the screen, and it works very, very simply. Okay. That's it. It's not going to show you anything. It's just going to remove the color blue from your screen. So it lets you not get as distracted by the color blue at night and keep you awake. So it removes the color blue from your screen to not keep you awake and mess with your circadian rhythm. Now, there's a lot of people that say it works. There's a lot of people that say it doesn't work.
What?
Eh,
No,
Mine says schedule setting.
You can schedule it. So you can schedule it to go on from certain times. So you can schedule it to go on certain times. Next thing. Do we see a little flashlight down there? If you have an iPhone, you'll see a little flashlight. You won't see it on an iPad. This is the one way to tell whether you have an iPhone 6 or a 6S or a 7. So an iPhone 7 is easy because it looks different than a 6 or a 6S. But something they added in the iPhone 6S is something called Force Touch. You see that? We talked about this earlier. You see the flashlight? Press down hard on the flashlight. And if you see multiple options come up, you have a 6S or a 7. If you see nothing come up, you have a 6 or a 5 or a 5S or different things like that. Yeah. So you see that? That gives you access to there. Now, so we've got that. Yeah, that'll give you an idea. I might show you something. I might show you something really cool. What happens is the screen on the 6S and the 7 is actually pressure sensitive. I'm going to show you something really cool if I can find it. iPhone. That's a live photo, but here's what's very cool. People think this is crazy. What if I told you you could actually weigh things with your phone? No, I can't help you there. You can weigh things with your phone. You ever seen this, Bill? You've never seen this? Oh, okay. I'm going to show you this. iPhone scale screen. I used to have it bookmarked on my iPhone 6S, but I will find it for you. Give me a second. Here we go. How to use your iPhone 6S as a scale to weigh items. This is not a joke. Now, it only weighs things up to like half a pound. So
Good for letters or something.
it's good for letters. I'm going to tell you how you actually weigh things, and then you'll see what else is. So it says place object here. You'll see it's 0.00 grams. Depending on how much force I have to put it down, it'll tell you how much an item actually weighs. So it has to be, the material you put it in has to be conductive. So I did not, maybe my name tag will work. Let's see. No, my name tag won't work. Let me try this. Oh no, there we go. There's my name tag. So my name tag is 20 grams. So I've actually got my name tag is 20 grams in weight when I take it off. But what's cool is I can load things on top of my name tag. So I can say, okay, my name tag is 16 grams. I can tear it, and then I can see how much this flash drive weighs by putting that on top of the name tag. Now, does somebody in this room want to guess what this has been majoritarily used by? Because generally how you'd weigh it is by putting the thing in a spoon. What?
Medicine.
Medicine, yes! Thank you. Medicine. But you can go. Special medicines that are legal in certain states and not legal in other states. But you can go in, and that's actually really cool. You can actually weigh stuff if you have. It's not an app. Apple would never allow that app because then that would sponsor drugs and things like that. It's actually just all I did was I Googled. I'll tell you exactly what I Googled. I just Googled how to use iPhone as a scale, and you see exactly as it tells you how to do it. That's just a rock. But it's really cool from a technical perspective that none of you in this room, I can tell you none of you in this room because Bill didn't even know that, is that you can actually use the iPhone as a scale. It doesn't weigh super heavy things, but it weighs up to about 500 grams or so.
Only grams. You can't convert to ounces.
So, dear, there's this great app that we talked about called Converter Plus during the apps class. So I can see if that was 20 grams. No, just to show you how everything is kind of linked together. So that was 20 grams. Where's grams? No, that's grain. 20 grams
Down one.
is 0.70 ounces. So that's called Converter Plus. That's the one we showed during the apps class the other day. Now another thing I'll show you is you have the clock, you have access to the calendar, you have so many ways to access the camera. But if I scroll over one, I actually have an audio player. So whatever I was playing last, now the last thing I was playing was the naked little chihuahua that was dancing around in Celebrity Central. So you'll notice it's pointing to the wireless flash drive. And then I have, as I said the other day, I have the home. You remember the home application with the refrigerators and stuff? I have shortcuts to my light bulbs and all those different things. But this is a little shortcut to the control center. Now I want to talk about 3 more things on this, and then we're going to move to the apps class.
And that control center comes up even on your lock screen.
Comes up on your lock screen if you've not turned it off elsewise, yes. So, now we're going to talk about managing storage, then we're going to talk about Touch ID, and then we're going to talk about AirDrop, and then we're going to skip the SanDisk, and we're going to come back to it at the end. I will come back to it at the end. So, let's talk about managing storage. Now, remember yesterday we figured out how much storage we had? But we've never talked about what's taking up the storage. We know it's photos. We know it's photos and videos, let's be honest. Turn your flashlight off on your phone. Just slide it from the bottom, turn it on. It's my phone, but you know. Slide it from the bottom and just hit the flashlight thing. So, I want you to go to Settings, General, Storage and iCloud Usage. So Settings, General, Storage and iCloud Usage. And the top one will tell you the storage local to your device. The bottom one will tell you the storage on iCloud. So that's what those 2 things will tell you. I want you to hit Manage Storage on the top one. What this is going to show is this is going to show what's taking up all of your space, and some of you might find some surprising things taking up all of your space.
My Facebook is,
Really?
I don't know how to.
We'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there. So the number 1 thing for most of you is probably photos and camera, right?
Yeah.
Anyone got something bigger than photos and camera? Facebook, how big is it?
1.31 gigabytes.
Okay. Facebook Messenger or Facebook on its own?
It just says Facebook.
Okay. What do you got?
Maps.me.
Maps.me, okay.
Music.
Music, that's a possibility as well. So, what do you say? Photos, photos. Okay. So the majority of us have photos and camera as our biggest one. You might have Facebook. The problem is Facebook puts a lot of crap in the background. So the best way to free up that, now do you need space on your phone or you're okay?
No, I could use some space.
You can use some space. When you get home, or now, it doesn't matter, delete Facebook and reinstall it. This is gonna, because your Facebook is just tied to your Facebook login. So it's just got a lot of crap crapped up in the Facebook app. If you delete the Facebook app and reinstall it, it'll give you more space back there. So don't do it, you don't want to do it right this second. But for those of you that have photos, how do we clear that up? Google Photos. Music people. You said music. Now, do you have room on your phone, or then you're okay. You don't need to worry. If you like music, you keep it on there. You have room on your phone with the Maps.me? Okay, so you're okay. He has some maps that are downloaded to his device. I just want us to all be very aware of what's taking up all the space on our device. Does that make sense? I want us to be aware. Probably the number 1 for most of us. If not number 1, it's number 2, photos and videos. Google Photos will solve that problem if you want it to. I never have Google Photos solve that problem, but if you want it to, Google Photos will solve that problem for you. Cool? Makes pretty good sense. Okay. Now you'll see my top 3. I have photos and camera, then I have Downcast, and I have VLC. What are those applications? We'll find out in about 10 minutes' time. Okay, so Touch ID, fingerprint. The big thing was, last year people said, should I get the new iPhone? Should I get the new iPad? And my answer on that was reliant on whether or not the device took the lightning connector. The small little connector. That was my answer is, okay, does the device take the lightning connector? If it doesn't, then it's time to upgrade. Right? My new thing is, if your device does not have Touch ID, if it doesn't have the fingerprint sensor, it's time to upgrade the device, because that has become so integral. You'll notice that if you go into your banking apps nowadays, you can put in your password again, or you can just Touch ID.
Apple Pay needs it.
What?
Apple Pay needs your.
Apple Pay needs the fingerprint, correct.
medical apps.
Medical apps are locked with Touch ID. You can lock a lot of apps with Touch ID. So Touch ID is a very important feature. Here's the problem. How many of you does Touch ID work flawless every time for?
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
So, the reason it doesn't work, so here's the thing. Touch ID, I'm going to tell you, was designed in an Apple lab by a bunch of people between the ages of 20 and 40.
There you go.
Okay, this is the answer to the question. When you become over about 45 or so, just making a statement, not judging or anything, when you become over 45 or so, what happens is your hydration levels vary throughout the day. And your fingerprint changes based on your hydration levels. So what's very cool is you can actually add multiple fingers. Apple never tells you this. You can add multiple fingers. So to get more accuracy, if you add the same finger more than once, it will actually increase your accuracy. At different times of the day, you add the same finger more than one time. So I'm going to show you. If you go into Settings, you click on Touch ID and Passcode. So Settings, there should be something right in Main Settings called Touch ID and Passcode. It will then ask for your passcode. That is not my passcode. You need to put in your real passcode, not the one we set up for guided access. I just put in the guided access one because I'm so smart. That was sarcasm. And what we'll see is we probably all have one finger set up in there, right? You have 4. You can set up 4 different fingers. So you can put up to 5 fingers. You put up to 5 fingers. Yeah, put in your pin to go. Oh, you don't. Oh, that's right. You've got the. Yeah. So she's the only one in this room that if she were to ask me, do I need a new iPhone right now, I would say 100% you need a new iPhone right now. So I would say, yes, you need an iPhone 100% right now. So I want you to take your finger and you put it on the screen. In this app, if you put it on the screen, it's going to identify which finger it is. You see? It's identifying which finger it is. It's got your daughter's right thumb on it. Okay.
Oh, you have to put your code in.
No, yeah, put your code in first.
And then you have to add a fingerprint?
No, watch when you put in your finger, it's going to highlight
Oh.
which fingerprint you're putting there. Oh, Siri, don't press down. Just tap it.
Oh,
Mine doesn't,
I'm a
it
home
just says
button.
finger 1, finger 2, finger
That's
3.
okay. This is what I'm saying. When you tap it, the finger that you're currently pressing will light up, so you know which finger it is. Yeah. Tap your finger on the finger scanner, and then that lights up.
Okay.
So what I use is I have this finger programmed in. So this is finger 1. I have this finger programmed in, which is finger 2, and
Keep
this
telling
finger.
me to place my finger over.
Aha! Let me see where you're at.
That's what you're making.
No, I don't want you to set up a new finger.
I've never used
Oh, you never used it? Then yes.
I shut it off before.
So,
I never recognized it.
what you need to do is you can add your finger once when you wake up in the morning and once before you go to bed at night or in the later evening. And if you add this, I don't want to scream over everyone. If you add the same finger 2 times, your accuracy will go up by about 10-fold. So
I've got finger 1, finger 2. How do I find out what the other finger was?
You just have to put all your fingers there until one identifies.
Until one of them highlights.
Until one of them highlights. What?
That's not identifying. I think
You don't see it highlighted?
You can change the name.
Well, then they're not real.
You may have two
They're
thumbs.
they're not real. You might have different fingers in it. What finger do you usually use in this?
Try the other thumb.
If it never works, then you need to reprogram the fingers.
I have no idea.
So you need to reprogram the fingers, but you can just hit add fingerprint and you can add the fingerprint. Technically, if you're husband and wife, you can add everybody's fingerprint. What I do is my work iPad, this iPad right here, has my fingerprint in it, as well as my assistant's fingerprint. I like to put it like this. This is very disturbing. You're gonna laugh. When I, my iPhone is very special to me, and my iPhone has all my personal information. I don't trust anybody, but I have some iPads sitting around my cabin. I have movies and stuff on the iPad. So when I'm with a girl and we're good for a while, you know what she gets to do? She gets to put her fingerprint in the iPad. Aww.
Is that like giving her a key?
Yeah, because my door is always unlocked.
Is that
So
like Facebook update?
no, we don't do that. You know, because mommy goes, "Oh, who's that new cougar you're with?" So no, she gets her fingerprint in the iPad. She doesn't get to know the code because if she knows the code, then she can add other people's fingerprints. So you don't tell the girl the code.
Right.
Never tell her the code. But if you can add her fingerprint there.
And delete her.
Well, I'll give you an example. Later tonight, Ron is going to be deleted from my iPad because Ron's leaving, and his replacement Rolando is coming tomorrow, and I only have so many fingers in my iPad, so I need to remove Ron's finger
Ron's out.
to make, Ron's out. So he doesn't know that yet, but his finger is getting deleted later tonight. What?
You removed it, right?
Oh. Oh, I'm showing that the wrong way. Don't worry. We got one more thing, and then we do actually have a magic trick.
And those fingerprints are shared between devices.
No, the fingerprints are locked on your device, and just to tell you something, I'm going to tell you some really interesting facts about the fingerprint, and then we're going to move on to the last section of the class. I want to show you AirDrop. Here's some really interesting facts about the fingerprint. Your fingerprint is never stored. It's not your fingerprint that it's taking. It's making a math problem, and the ridges of your fingerprint are the solution to that math problem. How do you learn all this? It's interesting.
How do you learn all this?
How do I learn all this? Copious amounts of reading. Bill, who's traveling with me, will tell you, I get into bed about midnight, but I don't go to sleep till 3 or 4 in the morning because I'm reading articles and doing all that. I keep up. Luckily, this is a weekend now, so there's not a lot of stuff going on in the tech world on the weekend. I'll probably only have about 50 articles to read tonight. Last night I had about 200-300 to give you an idea there, but I make it through all this. I learn. To give you an example, though, when you get off, I'm going to tell you something that I want you all to do. This is going to sound very, very strange, okay? Right before you go through immigration tomorrow, okay? what I want you to do, this is going to sound very dumb, turn your phone off completely and turn it back on right before you go through the immigration officer, because I want to tell you something very interesting. You notice that if you turn your phone off and you turn your phone back on, the fingerprint doesn't work. You have to put in the code. The reason Apple does that is because you can be compelled legally to put your finger on a phone to unlock it. Legally, they can move your finger with a warrant against the phone to unlock it, but they cannot compel you to give them the 4-digit or 6-digit code to unlock it. That's actually against the law. And I'm just going to make a non-political statement. In the immigration world we're living in right now, the last thing I want is someone from immigration looking through my phone. So if you were to turn your phone off and turn it back on right before you go through immigration, technically nobody has the rights to do that. Now another interesting thing is, you notice that if you don't touch your device for 48 hours, it makes you put in the code. It's because it takes at least 48 hours to get a warrant to force your finger to go on something. So Apple's thought of everything. To get a bench warrant, it'll take at least 48 hours to do that. So within 48 hours, it will lock your device down. So even if you do have the finger enabled, Apple cares more about your privacy than everyone else. Let me be completely honest. I've told you a lot about Google and a lot about things like that. Google cares about your privacy, but Google cares about you as an advertising source. Apple cares about your privacy more than any other company on the face of this earth. Apple cares about your privacy more than your doctor, more than your health insurance, more than anyone like that. Don't know why, but that's one of the reasons that Apple is a pillar. I will tell you that every piece of information you've ever put on that Samsung phone has been sold to a third party. It's the truth. I mean, I have a Samsung phone. So that's how in depth the Touch. I could do a 4-hour-long class just on Touch ID and how it works to give you an idea and everything that Touch ID does. Yeah.
What group of people don't have fingerprints to use this? Question for you.
Can I answer
So,
that one?
yeah.
Have you heard of GOES, the global entry in the United
Not
States? Well, in order to get a global entry thing, you have to put your fingerprints on a fingerprint pad, all right? I have 5 fingers. If I tell you it took them time and time again, because my fingerprints are very hard to get, he got his thing the next day, mine took about a week because they had to keep working it. And I have one thing at gym that my fingers will not be taken.
So let me give you a simple metric. You can actually, this is going to sound very strange, but you don't have to use your finger.
I realize that. You can use anything.
You can use anything.
But which is the case with bricklayers.
Correct. You can technically use the nub of your hand. I've met some people that don't have fingers before, and they use the nub of the finger that they would have, the stub or the nub of the finger, to give you an idea. There is a video online. I'm not going to show it. There's a video when Touch ID came out of a man using his nipple to lock and unlock his phone. So he actually went, dude. You do have fingerprints on there. It's a Samsung phone. It has fingerprints. Yeah, you have it. And one of the major problems with the new Samsung phone is they're putting the fingerprint reader on the back right next to the camera, so you're going to smudge the camera every time you use it if you get the new Samsung 8. But that's a story for another time. The last thing I'm going to show you in this first class, and I'm going to start printing out the second class now, is AirDrop. It's something I use almost every single day. I want you to open up your Photos application. Okie dokie, let's see what we're going to talk about. We're going to get rid of these.
You can lock the door now.
It's okay. We'll get it in a couple seconds. So AirDrop, we're going to go to Photos, and you're going to click on a single photo, such as this one, a Bill playing pool. Doesn't matter.
With your hat on.
Yeah, with my hat on, I know. And what you should see, I can't show you this on the single photo, but you should see, if you click on a single photo, a box with an arrow on it. Do you see that box with an arrow coming out of it? Hit that box. When we hit that box, what we're going to see is we're going to see everybody around us, correct?
Oh, I think we got close to that. I'm still playing with
Hit the box.
That everybody's here except one that's iPad.
So we click that box, and what we can do is we can drop to everyone that's around us. So where is Thomas? I can send that picture to Thomas's iPhone. If I tap on Thomas, it should come over. Can somebody send something to iLounge Manager iPod Touch? There should be something called iLounge Manager iPod Touch. Go ahead and send it.
Okay, wait a second.
Click on the picture.
Yep.
Picture there.
No, okay, so iLaunch Class iPhone would like to share a photo, and I can hit accept. And now I will get, oh, everybody's sending it to me now. Good job finding it. So what this is, here's the coolest thing. Oh, I took that same picture last night, Peter. Where's Peter? I took that same picture last night. I went to the dining room last night. So here's the cool thing. I can send pictures and video across devices using AirDrop from the Photos application. Here's the important thing though. I did not use internet to do this. It is using Bluetooth to find the devices, and then it's creating a Wi-Fi connection between the two devices. Does that make sense? So, you see?
Did I turn this on, or did I just, it just?
That doesn't work, I don't have AirDrop.
So, yeah, that's part of the other thing. We'll take a look at that after. So, you turn it on.
All of these people are.
And these are all these people. You remember we turned on AirDrop and we said everyone? That's how you can see everyone. We did AirDrop everyone, and that's how you can see absolutely everyone.
Because I've used this app to send things through Facebook, but I don't usually see the other.
Yep. So you can actually do AirDrop and everyone.
We signed up for it earlier.
So we got AirDrop everyone. Now, understand that you can do this when you're in the middle of the jungle. You can do this in the middle of a forest. It doesn't matter where you are. Click on a single photo. You'll only be able to do it with a single photo. There's our photo safari. Now, I've done this in Alaska. I've done this all over. And one of my favorite things I used to do, I didn't do it this cruise, unfortunately, because I didn't have time to set it up. But I'll sometimes do what we did on the photo safari. I actually made that happen on a shore excursion. Because what I do is they have this thing, hopefully if you come on another cruise with me, I didn't have a chance to do it this cruise because I had someone cruising with me, but I do something, you know, are you familiar with the private journeys, the semi-private journeys that Celebrity does, the shore excursions? Every cruise for the past like 2 months, I've gone on a private journey and done a photo class on that private journey. And what's so funny is after that, I've airdropped all the pictures to everyone. And then we have 1 or 2 people that have Samsung phones. And they go, can you airdrop me the pictures? And I go, no. This is just between Apple devices with the small connectors. But, hold on, I'm not knocking on you. Here's the cool thing. Essentially, you can use Google Photos to do the same thing. You can share the pictures that way. That's done over internet, and that's done to people with iPhones or iPads or Androids or anything of the sort. Now, I just want to show you some stuff really quick. I don't want you to follow along with this because I want to move on to the next thing. I can go ahead and I can take a contact. Let's say I've got my contact information right here. And if I want to share my contact information with someone, if I go into contacts, I can hit share contact, which is right on the bottom of the contacts. I hit share contact, and then I wait for people to show up. Frank's iPad, I hit share contact, and boom. I can do this with documents, I can do it with all kinds of stuff, I can do it with almost anything that's not protected. So if I happen to be inside of Pages, the P-A-G-E-S, the Word program that's available on the Mac, and the iPhone and the iPad, if I happen to be inside Pages, and I wanted to send someone a copy of that Gmail class, I can hit here, I can say send a copy, I'll send it as a PDF, and you'll see the AirDrop shows up right here. Any place you can email something or text something, I can send that to Barry's iPhone. Now for AirDrop to work, there's Barry, you can say accept. For AirDrop to work, the other device's screen must be on. Does that make sense? So the other device's screen must be on. How close? So this is something that would ridiculously fail in Celebrity Central because it would overwhelm it. It's not about how close. You have to be about 30 to 60 feet, within 30 or 60 feet, but you also can't overwhelm it. You can't have more than about 30 devices with AirDrop on in an area. That's why I won't show it in Central, because it just drives. This is about the most people you can do AirDrop with. So anywhere, here's what I want to point out. Anywhere you see this button right here, anywhere you see that button, the box with the arrow going out of it, you can AirDrop. To AirDrop, your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth both need to be on, but they don't need to be connected to anything. They just need to be on. Cool? Makes sense? Pass this around.
That's using Bluetooth.
That's using Bluetooth to find the devices, and it's using Wi-Fi to go ahead and do them. Now, to go ahead and make the connection happen. Now, I want to show you a couple of apps. These are apps. We're going to get back to the SanDisk wireless flash drive.
Kill the airdrop everyone so that we
So, she asked a very good question. Do we kill the airdrop everyone? No, there's no real reason to. There's no danger in the airdrop. There we go. That's what I need. There's no danger in the airdrop everyone. It makes life easier. I keep my phone on airdrop everyone all the time. So I keep it on airdrop everyone almost all the time. So, this is going to come around. There should be, it'll get there, don't worry. There's a whole stack. I only put one stack throughout the room. So I brought a couple of applications that take a little bit longer to talk about. We're going to take about half an hour, and we're going to talk about these apps on this list. The nice thing is, all of these applications are a little bit advanced. It's coming around, don't worry. There's enough of them. They're a little bit advanced, I agree. Everybody's got it there. I'm going to pass them that way. I made 25 of them. That should be more than enough for all of us. If not, I can hit print again. Not a big deal. The first thing I'm going to show you is a magic trick. Now, I already showed you one magic trick. This is that balloon thing, if you saw that. That was great.
You don't have
Now,
any for this.
as with many magic tricks, this magic trick works so much better if people are drinking.
Everything does.
Everything works so much better if people are drinking. But this is my magic trick I use every single cruise. I can't show you this on the screen yet. I'm going to show you how the trick works. Every single cruise I host a table and officers night out. I do in Tuscan Grill. And once everybody is nice and lubricated, I always end the night with this. And everybody asks me, what the hell is going on at your table? And they still invite me back every single cruise. I don't know why. But I end the night with a magic trick. And I'm going to show you this magic trick right now. Now, for me to show you this magic trick at first, I am not going to show you the magic trick on the screen. After I show you the trick, I will show the magic trick on the screen, but I want to impress you with the trick, and then I'm going to show you how it works, because it uses a lot of technical skills to actually happen. So the name of the magic trick is iForce, and it's a paid app. It's like a $3 app, but once you see the effect, you'll understand how cool it is. Now, what I want you to do, I'm going to pick someone, no plants, nothing like that. What I have is I have a little notepad. You see my little notepad that I have right there? I'm not going to show it on the screen just yet, but I will show it on the screen in a couple minutes because I'm going to reveal how the trick works because I'm a bad magician. But I want you to go ahead. I'm going to have you go first. We haven't set this up. You didn't even know I was doing a magic trick today. I want you to pick a number. Don't say it out loud. Between 1 and 4. Let's start easy, right? Show it up to the whole room so everyone can see. You can show it. My camera can't see you or anything like that. Now, everybody saw? You're going to watch and make sure you can look around this monitor and make sure I'm not doing any funny business here. But you know what? I knew you were going to choose that number, just so everybody can see the number. There's the number I knew she was going to choose. Now, the odds of me getting that right are 1 in 4, right? Now, a good magician will never do a trick twice. Number one, I'm not a good magician, but the actual rule is a good magician will never do the same trick twice. So we're going to make the trick a little bit harder now. I want you to choose a number between 1 and 8. You got it? Just show it to everybody in the room. If you need 2 hands, use 2 hands. Okay. But you know what? Again, watch. No monkey business, no fishy business.
It knows.
And nobody said it, and she chose.
Holy crap.
That's a good magic trick. Now at this
Hears
point,
it.
at what?
It hears it.
Did I ever say the
No.
word?
You're right, it could. Never mind.
Okay. At this point, people go, it hears it, it's the Apple Watch, you're I'm not going to get naked, but I'm going to prove that there's because I did this once, and they said, you've got something on you, and that turned out to be a lot more fun than you want to know. Took some magic, like, how much, you want to see a magic trick?
That was real magic.
That was real magic trick. Okay, but here's the thing. Now what you got to do is you got to play for money. Okay, I'm not going to take your money. Does anybody have any cash on them? I'm just asking a question.
$20.
Oh, don't say the money. Okay, she ruined the trick, but it's okay. Now what I'm going to do is when I do the money, since it's money, I'm going to change the font to green. So I'm going to get rid of it. She got a bill. Okay.
No, I didn't say that.
No, it's a bill. It's a bill of some sort.
You've
It has
got a
to be a
bill.
bill. I'm not going to guess coins. You've got a bill?
No.
I'm not going to guess coins. Come on. That's hard. Does someone have a bill in their hand or in their pocket?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and pull out the bill. I'm going to guess the bill right here. Okay. I'm not going to say anything. I've got nothing up my sleeves. Go ahead and show everyone the bill. Now, would you be impressed if I got that bill? That's a pretty
Yeah, I
pretty
would.
rare. Now I'm going to tell you that's actually not as rare a bill as you think, because the crew, we all get paid on salary cards, and our ATMs only put that bill out. I'm not going to say the name of the bill, but you know what? Watch me, no monkey business.
Whoa. Whoa.
Wow, that's cool.
That's a cool trick, isn't it?
Who's writing it on another?
Bill is not sitting right there writing at another location. He's not doing that. He didn't even know how this trick worked the first time. I'm going to show you how the trick works, because it's no fun unless I show you how the trick works. So now we're going to do the same trick again, but I'm going to leave the screen on. Okay? So, let's do it the easy way. No, the screen doesn't see it. Now, I can just go, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It doesn't matter what I do there. That's what I've been doing every time. I put the phone down. It is now blank. Now, if I showed this on the screen, you wouldn't be as impressed with this trick. Tell me a number between 1 and 4. Just say it out loud. It doesn't matter.
4.
4. If I flip the phone from the top, it does 1. If I flip the phone from this side, it does 2. If I flip the phone from the bottom, it does 3. And if I flip the phone from the right side, it does 4. But she's sitting and she's going, I didn't choose that. I chose 7. So we understand 1 to 4, but if I do 1 slow, it does 5.
Wondered why everything was slow.
Then it goes 6. It's suspense. And then I got lucky because the first person pulled a 3, and the second, he noticed it. You caught it on the third turn because I flipped it the same way the first 2 times, because a 3 and a 7 quickly is a 3, but slowly is a 7. And then once you understand how that works, then I'm just going to show you, I'll show you the visual for money. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. So he said 50, so I just put slow from the right. A 50 is an equivalent of a 7. Does that make sense? And once you understand that, it's a great trick. It's a great trick. It's a good trick, and it uses all the sensors in the phone, and you can do it multiple times. Now, I can, if I wanted to remember, I could say, hey, what's your favorite type of food? And I've got American, Chinese, Italian, Indian, Mexican, Middle East, sushi, and Thai. Programmed in. You can program in your own, or you can say you flip a coin 3 times. Is it tails, tails, heads, heads, tails, tails? I'm not bright enough to do that right now, so I can do the 1 to 4, the 1 to 8, and the
I
money.
need more alcohol.
I need more alcohol, yes. So, this segment of the class we're about to do, actually, I'm going to hold these 2 for last. Goodreader and VLC and
Sorry,
Handbrake.
iForce, that's an, the app
iForce is an
iForce?
app that's in the App Store.
Okay.
I'm going to show you everything that's here, but I'm going to kind of choose my own order when I show you these things that are here. Next one we're going to talk about is Robinhood. ROBINHOOD. Because I want to approach some things a little bit different. Robinhood is one of my absolute favorite apps. And I used to show it in Celebrity Central. I don't show it in Celebrity Central anymore because someone got offended by this next joke I'm about to tell. And I think I told this joke in Celebrity Central this cruise. I said, where are most of the criminals in the United States?
In prison.
Running our financial institutions. A bunch of guys left the financial institutions and they made their own stock trading platform. What's different between this stock trading platform and every other stock trading platform is it does trades for free.
But why?
Because it costs nothing to do trades.
But they must be making money somewhere.
Here's the interesting thing. So they have margin accounts. Like I have a if you know what a margin account is, I have a margin account with them, and they're making money on my margin account. But I will not pay for trades. And what's cool is they are completely destroying the financial services industry. Now they're a pretty interesting startup. And what's cool is like everyone under 30, everyone under 35 uses them. We don't use Merrill Lynch, don't use Charles Schwab. Now I do still have an investment account in trust with a big company, but any new money is going into this app. I don't make any trades. It's called Robinhood. Greatest name for an app ever. It's called Robinhood, and it's a stock trading app that is free. There are no transactions. The market's closed right now. So there's no transaction fees. There's nothing like that. It is the future of how this is all going to work. And here's the cool thing. They have a parent company that's basically the main investor that some of you might know. It's called Alphabet.
Oh, yeah.
Google.
You ever heard of them?
Google.
So when you're asking how they're doing it, it's Google trying to disrupt the financial services industry. That's really what it is.
It's not guaranteed in any way.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's not guaranteed. It's guaranteed the same way a normal account is. It's not. It is your money that's in there. If it's cash, is guaranteed. It's FDIC insured and everything like that. It is not guaranteed in the perspective of how no stock account is essentially guaranteed. But yes, it is guaranteed. It is being done in the United. And the cool thing is, it's a platform. So since it's a platform, it can technically expand to other markets other than the U.S. as well. I wrote U.S. only. They're looking at expanding into Canada and the U.K. real soon because they don't do the actual trades. They're a platform. In the U.S., it's done by a trading house called Apex Clearing. But if you've ever, this is the most anti-bank banking app I've ever seen before. If you want to transfer money to it, you just go into banking and you hit add a new account and you choose any of these banks. You log in with your username and password for the bank. It automatically gets your routing number, your check number, everything like that, and you can transfer without knowing your account number, without doing anything. My favorite thing is that you can transfer from Charles Schwab, which is an investment company, directly into this app. Now, Bill uses this app as well. This is, so you do have to use the app. You have to be American. You have to have a U.S. Social Security number. We're not going to get into the, Bill said
And are you gonna end of day?
it is instant trade. It is instant trade. They have an Apple Watch app and everything. The cool thing is I like technology that disrupts. I love technology that disrupts. I love this, and I'll tell you, my dad forced me to open an IRA for tax reasons. I don't want to open an IRA, but for tax reasons I had to open an IRA. I opened it with, since they don't offer IRAs yet, I opened it with Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch said, we're going to charge you for trades. I said, no, thank you. I'll go somewhere else. I said, I'll go to Robinhood, right? I want you to understand this Robinhood, whether you use it or not. All the financial institutions know about it now, and they know it's going to put them out of business. So you just say Robinhood, they cower in their pants, and they give you free trades for a year.
Fidelity just lowered theirs to
But this is what's killed them.
I didn't know that.
This is what's killed them. Every Silicon Valley startup, all of their retirement plans are inside of Robinhood. Google, Apple, Facebook, everybody's inside of this application. It is free stock trading.
Are there people to actually speak with?
There are people to actually speak with. But it is a beautiful, beautiful app. If I wanted to do buys and sells, and I have margin, so I only have $93,000 available on that. I have a margin, I have everything like that. Beautiful app, tells you when earnings are coming up. It's the coolest, nicest stock trading app I've ever seen. It's going to be moving, so it's a platform which then works with a clearinghouse. So they make the money. I'll tell you how they made money at first, is when you sold a stock, they would wait 3 days for the stock to clear, and they would collect interest during the 3 days it took that stock to clear. They are not cash flow positive right now, but they're getting fed by Google to make this work, if that makes sense. And they just announced their margin tiers. I just like to mention it because I think it's really cool, because the greatest idea is this is what's going to put the big banks out of business. And everybody thinks that things are too big to fail. I like to say I've gotten a lot of things right over the years. I saw BlackBerry failing. I saw standalone GPSs failing. If you see me in 3-4 years, you're going to say, Rich, I'm glad I took that tip and put a short on Comcast and put a short on T-Mobile and Verizon and everything like that, because they're going to fail. You're thinking that these banks are too big to fail? They're not.
Shorts on here?
You can't do shorts yet. They're going to add that soon, but you can do market sells, limit sells. You can do all kinds of different orders. So if I do sells, you can see order types, market order, limit order, stop loss, stop limit. You can do a lot of stuff, but they just added margin recently, and they're adding new features all the time. Eventually, you're going to be able to have IRAs and margins and everything like that. It's very, very cool because it is zero commission stock trading. And they have an Apple Watch app. And as I was saying, I was in the Pitons last week on a catamaran, and I executed a trade on T-Mobile. I was in the ocean, I had my watch, I executed a T-Mobile trade while I was snorkeling with some turtles. So that was nice to do. That's called Robinhood. I'm going to show these a little bit out of order for an intentional reason. Another application that was just recently put out by Apple is called Apple Support. Not Apple Store, Apple Support. And what this is if you have any Apple devices, this will list all of the Apple devices that are tied to your Apple account, so that you've ever signed in with your Apple ID, and it will show you the support options for all of those devices. So it'll show you how much time's left in the warranty, it'll let you call Apple Care. You know when you call Apple Care and they ask you for the serial number and all those different things like that? If you click on here, on this iPhone 7 Plus, and you say there's trouble, it will automatically, they will call you back, and they will know, this is run by Apple, but it's a new app, they will call you back and they will already know all of your details about your device, because this app transmits it. Which looks really cool, so I can say I'm having trouble with power and battery charging, product details, and I go in. It's called Apple Support. It's really quite a cool app. Now, we're going to work up-ish, down-ish, around-ish, because we've got 15 minutes left. Downcast. Do any of you watch podcasts? Do any of you know what a podcast is?
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Ted.
So, TED Talks, that's a good example of a podcast. What a podcast does is a podcast is like a TV show. Every week, new episodes come out. Eventually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take iLearn Review off YouTube. Well, I'll put it on YouTube as well, but I'm also going to have it as a podcast. So you'll see updates that come in. And Apple has an app called Podcast that's available on the iPhone and the iPad that you might have seen before. But that app is... This is called Downcast, and this is how I manage all of my podcasts. And I want to give you a podcast or two that you can listen to, that I want to read you some of the subjects. So this is a really cool application. It downloads podcasts, and what podcasts are is they're like weekly radio shows or TV shows that come in all the time. One of my favorites is called Too Embarrassed to Ask. And I know some of the people that make this show, and what's very interesting is Too Embarrassed to Ask, you'll notice is very similar in essence to my tech tips I do in the evening. Look at this one. Is Google now a hardware company? Remember when I showed you all the Google hardware? It's a discussion about that. What happens to Samsung after the Note 7 disaster? Good question. They sit around, and these are people that used to work for the Wall Street Journal and other big companies like that. This is why are drone laws so confusing? Which running app should I use? Is the MacBook Pro's touch bar just a gimmick? Does Trump's victory mean I need stronger encryption? That's just a question. Do productivity hacks really work? What were the biggest tech stories? What's so special about AirPods? Remember the AirPods I showed you yesterday? What's so special about AirPods? And you'll see all of it. Should I buy stock in Snapchat? What is unlimited phone data a ripoff? Do I need to pay for multiple cloud services? You know, it's going to go in and it's going to talk, is the Nintendo Switch as fun as the Wii? It's like, oh, where are they getting all this stuff from? You know, I don't actually get it from here, but it's funny that you'll see my stuff and their stuff is very similar because they keep up. Now, this is not really targeted towards your demographic. It's targeted towards me. But I'll give you another example of a podcast, which is called Twit.tv. I don't know if any of you ever heard of it. Twit.tv. You may have heard, if you ever watched some shows back in the day, I'm going to show you this guy for a fractional second. Let me see if I can show you. I don't think I'll get any copyright issues here. Let me fast forward.
Totally agree.
This guy right here, his name is Leo Laporte. I don't know if you've ever seen the guy before. He used to be on a TV network called Tech TV. And he had his own TV show, and he would do all these things about all kinds of technology, stuff like that. Now he owns a whole podcasting network where he talks about, he's got Apple shows, Android shows, stuff like that. Honestly, truthfully, it's a little bit above, per se, but this is where I get my information from. But you can get all kinds of different podcasts, all kinds of different things. It's an app called Downcast, and it manages all of your podcast.
So this may
Yep.
sound simple, but if I wanted to get this thing called Too Embarrassed to Ask, for example.
Yep, so you download Downcast. Let me put this up on it's not a bad question. So I get the Downcast app,
Right.
and once I have the Downcast app, all I do is I hit the little search button
Okay,
to
so
find a
it has its
podcast.
own
Yeah.
search.
And you can go in that way, or you can actually just look at, categories as well. But I can just put in technology or Apple or things, and I'll find all of them built right in. It's called Downcast. It's a really cool app. There are 3 things. Let me see. We got 10 minutes. I'm going to show you 3 things real quick so you know kind of sort of how they work. The first one I want to show you is an application called VLC. This is how you get things on your iPhone or your iPad, video and audio on your iPhone or iPad without iTunes. Let's say that one more time.
Yeah.
It's how you get video or audio on your iPad or iPhone without iTunes. I want to show you how it works real quick. So I open up the VLC application. I got this application right here. I have to hold it in this way. You'll see there's a little parking cone in the upper left-hand corner. When I click on this little parking cone, there's a little thing that says sharing via Wi-Fi. Okay, so it says sharing via Wi-Fi. I turn that on. I want you to now go to the computers that may be in front of you. Go ahead and shake the mouse on the computers that are in front of you. If you have a computer, that one's off, so the one that you've got is unplugged, so you're not going to get anywhere there. But shake the mouse on the computers that's in front of you, if you have one in front of you. And where the address bar is up on the top, if you have a web browser up, where the address bar is, up on the top of the screen, you're going to go ahead, where you would put in a website, right on the top. I'm going to have you type this in. Now this is, don't write this down, because it's going to be different on every single device. But I want you to, if you have it, you're going to type
Click
in
on it and then we
10,
overwrite it.
10, period, 0, period, 1, period, 20. And then hit enter.
10 was the number 10.
Yep, the number 10.
10 period what?
10, period, 1,
No.
and the 10 period 0, period 1, period 20. I'm going to show you what I have on my screen. So when we type that in, here's what you'll see. If you're just rebooting, don't worry. It'll say, I'm going to show you on my screen. Tell me what it was again, real guys. Quick guys. 10, period,
Period, 0, period, 1,
20.
20.
1,
0, 1, 20.
Okay.
Periods in between.
So what this brings up, and you just type this in, what it brings up is it brings up everything I have in the VLC application. So these are all my videos I have in there. Do you see where it says drop files?
Yep.
If you have a video file, like say, let me find my video files from this cruise. This is going to be hard because I have a lot of it. So I have class movies. If I have a video file, let me find this video file. I don't think I have enough stuff on my computer, sorry. I have a video file. I can just take that video file and I can drop it right to where it says drop files. And then I will get it right on my device. So I put it where it says drop files, and I will get it right on my device, and it will sync over. Now, do you see that you have all these download files? Yeah, yours is a little weird. It's okay. It's not you. It's your computer. It's set up a little bit differently than everyone else's. There are instructions in the app that will tell you how to do this. It's a free app. You don't need to worry about that. Yours will go there in just a few seconds.
Okay, so I've got this up here now, if I've got a video.
If you've got a video from your My Computer or your Finder, depending if it's Windows or Mac, you just drag it right to where it says drop files, and then you open VLC up on your phone, and guess where the files are?
Okay, so if I've got a disc player in my computer,
Talking CD player, a DVD player.
DVD player.
Let's hold off on that for a second. I'm going to show you that. I do want to show you that, so I will. I'm going to get over to that. That'll probably be the last thing we'll talk about, but we're going to talk about that briefly. It's on the list. I have it on the list how to do it. But this is if you have any video file. So if you have any video file, you can do this without iTunes, as long as your computer and your iPhone or iPad are on the same Wi-Fi network. Does that make a level of sense? I'm not expecting it to make full sense, because unfortunately, I'd love 7 more hours, but these are the only number of hours I can shove in the day.
Does it stay on there?
It stays on your device once you put it on your device, which is what's really cool. So it stays on your device once you put it on your device.
Your phone and your what have to be paired?
The what?
What has to be paired? Your phone and your...
The device has to be paired. So they need to be on the same Wi-Fi network, just on the same Wi-Fi network. So if your phone and your computer are on the same Wi-Fi network, we are good to go.
The phone has the app, the computer you need.
You just put the website in there, yes. Yeah, leave it there, you're fine. Okay. No. Those are files that are already on the device.
Oh.
That's not gonna, you can click on it and download it from the device. Yeah, because he's downloading them. He's downloading to his computer. If you click on them, they'll download to the computer.
So does the app give you this address that you have to?
The app gives you the address, and the address will change dependent on whatever Wi-Fi connection you happen to be connected to, which is what's very, very...
That's connecting the two together.
Yes, that's connecting the two together. All right, so it will connect us to whatever connection we need to be connected to. Cool? Makes pretty good sense there? It's not going to be perfect, I agree. And what I'm going to do, let me explain to you what I'm going to do. All 4 of these last things we're going to talk about, next cruise, I'm going to make a 10-minute thing on them. Does that make, so my 10-minute thing I'll put on the site, I'm going to remember that. I need a VLC, I need a good reader. So what I want to do is I actually want to show you the last one, which is something I won't make a video on. I won't make a video on this last one I'm going to show you because I can't.
It's handbrake.
Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to end the class right now for video's sake. And I'm going to say,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. This has been the Advanced Smartphone Apps class. I'll see you later.